Welcome to this episode of Eureka, and we are going to have a very exciting discussion with Dr. Rajeevan, who is the Secretary to the Ministry of Earth Sciences, Government of India. Even after great improvements in irrigation, more than 75% of Indian farmers depend on rain. And do you know, the Ministry of Earth Sciences services to the farmers has earned them more than 42,000 crore rupees in 2015. We'll have a lot more discussion with Dr. Rajeevan, and before that, let's take a quick look at his brief profile.
Dr. Madhavan Nair Rajeevan is a well-known meteorologist. Presently, he is working in the capacity of Secretary in Ministry of Earth Sciences, New Delhi. Dr. Madhavan Nair Rajeevan's responsibilities include overall management and administration of ministry and its different scientific programs in weather, climate, ocean and seismology. He has more than 30 years of operational experience in many aspects of tropical meteorology. Before joining Ministry of Earth Sciences, Dr. Madhavan was the Director of Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology in Pune. Dr. Madhavan Nair Rajeevan obtained his BSc and MSc from Kamraj University and did his PhD in Physics from University of Pune. His main research contributions include understanding monsoon variability, development of monsoon prediction models, understanding extreme weather conditions like heavy rainfall, heat waves, and cloud radiation interactions. Dr. Madhavan Nair Rajeevan has received various awards for his outstanding work. Noted among them is Young Scientist Award in 2007 for his contribution in atmospheric sciences.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, being with us. And it's been a great opportunity, wonderful opportunity for us to have interaction with you.
Thank you.
You have been known for your excellent work in monsoon prediction.
That's true.
Monsoon variation. I mean, maybe this year you have a lot of rain, maybe last year there was a very less rain, maybe a few years ago there was a drought. And even when monsoon is good, maybe a particular region is not getting good rain. There are lots of variation. What kind of variations are there in monsoon?
Yeah, well, monsoon varies in different time scale. It can vary within a day. For example, all 24 hours you won't get rain. And within season also there are some days in which you get more rain, some days you get less rain. And from year to year variation also is very prominent. And monsoon also varies on decadal time scale, century time scale, millennium time scale.
Okay.
So you have a lot of variations in different time scales. And all these are mutually is very complex and also it's very interactive.
Very, very important point that you have made. Let's take a look at this seasonal variation, meaning that from last year to this year to next year.
Yes.
Why should there be a variation? After all, the oceans get heated up, the water vapor goes up, and then the wind blows towards India, and it should just fall on India, right?
That's true. So there is a kind of variation can be attributed to many things. One is the internal variability. The monsoon has its own internal variability. And also monsoon is not only one global phenomena which is occurring. In the globe around Indian continent there is phenomena occurring like El Nino event, and Indian Ocean also is playing an important role. For example, ocean temperatures at the Pacific as well as Indian Ocean can really play an important role in modulating Indian monsoon variability. And so year-to-year variation is mostly our Indian region is influenced by the sea surface temperature or ocean conditions in the Pacific.
In the Pacific?
In the Pacific.
Long, long away.
Long.
How does something that far away is going to affect here in India?
That's true. So the abnormal temperatures over the East Pacific as well as Central Pacific can influence in Indian region through atmospheric circulation. So a warm ocean can really affect the overlaying atmosphere, and that effect can really transport back to different regions.
Okay.
So that can, so El Nino not only influences Indian monsoon, it can have a global impact. It is a very strong signal.
Acha, okay. So El Nino is not just only affecting Indian monsoon, but
it can have a larger effect on around the different parts of the globe.
Very interesting. So when we talk about monsoon, El Nino is something that generally we hear. What other major factors that influence the variability in seasonal times?
Yeah, in over the Indian Ocean, we have a phenomenon called Indian Ocean dipole, and that occurs maybe every 3 or 4 years, and that can really also have an impact on Indian monsoon. And what in the winter season, what are happening in the north of India, especially over European subcontinent and also Eurasian region. For example, like snow cover, snowfall for example. That can also have an impact on Indian monsoon.
Okay. So, which essentially means that we should be not just only observing India, but rest of the world if you have to actually predict.
Exactly.
Let me ask one interesting question. Like, for example, how would, let's say, if the El Nino was weak, what would be its impact on?
El Nino and Indian monsoon are inversely related. For example, El Nino is basically nothing but warming of central and the Pacific Ocean. El Nino comes, normally we will have a tendency of a below normal monsoon.
Okay. So, if the El Nino is strong, then we will have a tendency
below
of
normal monsoon. It can lead to sometimes a drought.
So, that's a... Okay. What about the Indian dipole? How would
Indian dipole, see, we have two dipoles. One is called positive phase and another is a negative phase. The positive dipole phase is favorable for Indian monsoon. If a positive dipole happens, and it can really will be beneficial to the monsoon, but if it's a negative dipole, it can really harm Indian monsoon circulation as well as rainfall.
Okay, fine. So, I mean, you have to factor in like this number of factors before you come to a prediction.
Yes, exactly.
When this model was actually made? Like
yeah, see, this historically the first forecast, seasonal forecast was issued in 1886.
1886
by India Meteorology Department, and India was the first country to introduce the seasonal forecast of monsoon.
Okay.
The whole concept of seasonal forecast came from India, and there was a person called Gilbert Walker, and he was the Director General of India Meteorology Department. He is the person who really developed the science into a very good level, and he was considered to be, is considered to be the father of seasonal forecast now. And so he developed a kind of statistical models, and we are still following the same kind of strategy. And the present model which IMD uses for operational forecast was developed in 2007.
Okay.
When I was the director at the Climate Prediction Center at Pune, and myself and my team, my young team, developed this model.
Very, very interesting. Now, let me shift to another area of your work, which is again related to weather, but then climate change.
Yes.
The last IPCC report warned us that extreme weathers are imminent.
Yes.
Are we there? I mean, are we actually witnessing extreme events?
Yes, definitely. There is a growing evidence saying that extreme weather events are increasing over India. And global warming theory says that when temperatures goes up in the atmosphere as well as the ocean, there can be more water vapor in the atmosphere, and it can really generate more kind of instability in the atmosphere, which can generate more extreme weather events like flash floods and heat waves, etc., heavy rains, etc. So, if you really analyze the data over Indian region, there is a clear evidence that heavy rainfall events, the rainfall with the high intensity is increasing over the Indian region. It is beyond doubt. It's a statistically significant result. Number two is heat waves are increasing.
Heat waves are increasing.
Both the frequency as well as intensity of heat waves, especially April, May, June season are increasing.
Very, very important point. I think we need to focus in our planning, I suppose so. You said that extreme events with regard to flash floods and then also heat waves are increasing.
Yes.
What do we do?
Well, for example, heat waves is concerned, we are able to predict these heat waves now about 3 to 4 days in advance. And on seasonal time scale also, we are now providing some kind of information. And the first time, for example, last year, first time we issued a seasonal forecast for heat waves over the Indian region. And we also started now a forecast for every 5 days for next 10-15 days. So we will say that next 10-15 days, is there any probability of getting a heat wave over a particular region? And that has been very successful forecast. And for example, last year, at least 5 states in India, now Gujarat, for example, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Orissa, these states have taken a state action plans for heat waves. So when our forecast goes to them, immediately they team up with their own local administrators as well as medical people, for example, hospitals, etc. So health department also pulled in because hospitals should be really equipped with this kind of situation. If more and more people may come with a lot of issues, so they have to be prepared. So next, if you say the next 4 days there could be heat wave, then all people are geared up doing this. So last heat wave action plans really helped, especially states like Andhra Pradesh and Orissa. They could save a lot of people by simply saying that the next few days heat waves is happening, and don't go out first of all, and even if you go out, take precautions. So that, and this year we are returned to many other states like Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar. So they are also developing this state action plans.
Very, very interesting. We'll continue this conversation. We'll take a very short break. Don't go away. Keep watching Eureka. Do you know that this department has saved more than millions of lives? You may think that, what is it? I mean, when you predict rain, when you predict other things, how is it going to save life? We are going to have an interesting discussion after the break. Keep watching Eureka. Welcome back to Eureka, and we are having a very, very interesting conversation with Dr. Rajeevan, Secretary to the Ministry of Earth Sciences, Government of India. Thanks. And we have been talking about your contribution to the field of earth sciences. Your work with regard to extreme events, your work with regard to predicting monsoon. The third area which people talk about your contribution is development of climate data product. Yes. What is this climate data product?
As you know that Indian Meteorology Department has been accumulating meteorological observations for the last 100 years. And these data are spread somewhere here and there.
Okay.
And so if you really collect all these data, put it in one uniform format and especially useful format and give it to the people, and they can make use of this data product for research as well as taking some research, some policy decisions. So for example, in 2006, we first time we brought out a gridded data product of every 100 kilometer rainfall data, daily rainfall data using about 6,000 rain gauge stations. So, and for about 50 years of data. And that data set was well received by researchers, not only from India as well as from global community, global researchers. And with that data, almost 650 research papers have come out. And that means they extensively use this data set to address many issues related to Indian monsoon. So this is one example. So similarly we developed many data sets, for example, temperature, and as well as rainfall in different formats. And also we developed many climate atlases for the policy decision people.
If public wants to access any of this,
These are all available free of cost. So most of the data are available free of cost. Some data may be nominal charges, and especially for research students, they may be given free of cost.
Very interesting. Yes. Let me shift to another area. I mean, you are now heading a very important ministry in this government, Ministry of Earth Sciences, which is going to have a lot of impact on the way we are going to develop in future. If if you ask a common public about this ministry, most likely they'll know about meteorological department that which gives out weather bulletin that there may be a rain tomorrow or not a rain tomorrow, maybe it's going to be windy. But then unseen, your ministry has been saving millions of lives. That's what researchers are saying. How is it possible? What's happening? What kind of magic that you are doing that you are actually saving millions of lives?
Yeah, that is true that we save a lot of people, millions of people, but there is no magic. We really do hard work to save people. I can give an example. For example, we save people from tropical cyclones, heat waves, severe flash floods, and heavy rainfall events. And I can give a good example of tropical cyclone. In 1999, we had a super cyclone which crossed the Orissa coast and killed 10,000 people, more than 10,000 people. The similar kind of intense very cyclone came in 2014. It's called Cyclone Philin, and the casualty was less than 10 people. So 10,000 to 10 people was the kind of reduction of in casualty. They mainly because of our accurate forecast, which we could give to the Orissa state government about 5 days in advance. Orissa state government also took a lot of care, and they took a lot of actions, prompt actions to save people. So our accurate forecast really saved. That really repeated again for Hudhud cyclone, which crossed the Andhra, and recent the Varda cyclone, which crossed the Chennai coast. So we have been saving people in terms of accurate forecast and warnings, etc.
Very, very interesting, which people don't generally know because it's happened behind the screen that you don't come to know. Only if there is a disaster, people know. When you save And avert a disaster, it doesn't come.
Of course,
into
government appreciates that, but the common public may not be really appreciating that.
Yeah. Okay, but I think the nation would certainly appreciate this effort and then this steadfastness that the department like yours are showing. Let me move to another area. I mean, one of the study, I think, pointed out that in a year, roughly 42,000 crores of rupees, you are saving farmers' money. I mean, otherwise, without your support, perhaps farmers put together would have lost something like 42,000 crore. How is it? I mean, how do they lose and how did you actually save them?
Well, we give agromet called agromet advisories. We issue 2 advisories in a week that will give information about the next 5 days what will happen to the particular region in terms of rainfall, temperature. So this is weather information is very important for a farmer to plan his activity. In terms of sowing, for example, in terms of putting irrigation, when they have to irrigate, and also putting fertilizers as
Fertilizer,
well as...
why is it connected? I mean...
you put a fertilizer, next day it rains, then everything will be washed off.
The fertilizer will be washed away. I mean, it's a waste of...
washed away from that region, no, sorry, that
field.
plant, field. And so similarly the pesticides. So and also in terms of protection of the, for example, if you say that the next 2 days there could be a lot of heavy rains and so it can really damage the field, they can really protect that field by doing some particular action. So we provide this information, and at present about 20.6 million farmers make use of our weather services. And as you said that the third party assessment by NCER report clearly says that there was a lot of economic benefits by farmers, mainly because of our agromet advisories. We will be now concentrating more to increase this 20.6 to around 94.5 million active farmers in this country. So, once you increase this number, the economic benefit also proportionally will increase.
Okay. So, basically out of 90 million, roughly about 20 million
people are getting our information.
Yeah,
yes.
and they are also actually
making use of extensively.
That's very interesting. Another question that I have is when you talk about weather prediction, particularly at local level. For predicting something, you need very extensive monitoring stations. Only then you will be able to make a prediction, particularly if you want to predict for next 2 days, 3 days. What is our level of density of data points?
Well, it's not that good. I should really confess that our observational network is not that dense when compared to, for example, Europe or US. So we are trying to increase that number of observations, a number of observatories around the country. And also we need to have more automated observatories rather than manual observations. So because we can save instead of you have to employ many people. So we are trying to put more automated, for example, rain gauges, automatic weather stations around the country. So the density will go up next 2 years. The density will really go up, and we may really match the density of Europe as well as
very. What is the current level of density, and what is your plan for increasing the density? How much we are going to go?
For example, surface observatories, I will tell you that we have about 550 plus another 600, around 1,200 observatories around the country. For a country like big country like India, this is very small. So at present, for example, we have about 6,600 blocks. Ultimately, we would like to aim 1 observations per block. That should be the target.
That's a very interesting and important point, and maybe that's a direction in which you are going. We need to take a very short break. Don't go away. Keep watching Eureka. After the break, we are going to discuss their entry into deep oceans. Why go to deep oceans? That's where most likely tomorrow's protein, maybe energy, and so many other things we are going to get. We are going to have this interesting discussion after the break. Keep watching Eureka. Welcome back to Eureka, and we are having a very interesting and exciting conversation with Dr. Rajeevan, who is the Secretary to the Ministry of Earth Sciences, Government of India. Your ministry has been going to polar regions, particularly to Antarctica. It's very interesting as a human adventure to go there. You know, I mean, like you claim Mount Everest. But what is the interest of us being there continuously? Why do you want to put up stations there? Now I think we have even increased it to 2.
There are two reasons. Two main reasons. One is strategically it is important that we should be there, and so we started going there from 82 onwards, and so 82 first observatory was set up there. So since 82 we have been going regularly. And as you said that we have two stations at present. One is called Maitri, another is called Bharati, and the second important activity is science. The Arctic Antarctic as well as Himalayas we call polar regions, and these polar regions can really have an impact on other regions also.
Okay.
So it's not a local phenomenon, but it contains a lot of sea ice, and so basically we call cryosphere. Any changes in the cryosphere system can have a global impact.
Okay.
It can change the global climate system. It can have repercussions any part of the world, and so Arctic also, as for example, Arctic sea ice is melting very fast. And that can have a lot of repercussions on weather, for example, Europe weather as well as Indian weather. So there are a lot of we call teleconnections of Arctic as well as Antarctic to Indian monsoon, for example. So we need to be there for, first of all, strategic reasons. Second is for scientific observations as well as scientific studies.
Now, recently, your ministry has taken a deep interest in deep ocean. I mean, I can understand ocean studies from weather point of view, or maybe, monitoring seas for fish catch. But deep ocean, other than science, what is the great interest there? Yeah,
deep ocean is very important for many reasons. One is, of course, it's full of mysteries, and I know our 70% of the earth is covered by oceans, but only 5% of the ocean is explored by us.
Okay.
Okay. So many, so 95% of the ocean is unexplored.
Still a mystery.
Unexplored. Okay. So for example, I can give another example how beneficial to explore the deep ocean. In terms of, for example, it contains, sea bottom contains a lot of minerals, very valuable minerals. It can fetch a lot of money. For example, copper, nickel, etc. So we have been given permissions by United Nations organization called International Seabed Authority to explore and find out where are the minerals, and at present there are no laws allowing countries to exploit it. For example, mining is not allowed. So one fine morning that will come, so at that time we should be prepared. So there is one example of minerals and energy. So now we are talking about, because of this global warming, we are talking about alternate energy resources like solar energy and wind energy. So energy also can be created from oceans. Oceans, as far as ocean thermal energy can be used for generating energy. And another example is a wave, ocean wave, from ocean wave and ocean, as well as ocean currents, we can generate energy. So energy, minerals, and also offshore wind energy can be put there, for example. And another important activity could be the fisheries, deep fisheries. As you know, the fishery activity is very important for our country, and almost we are saturated with normal fishing activities now. So we have to really go to the deep oceans and to have this kind of activities. And another important activities could be close to the Antarctica coast. So there are fish called krill, and krill fish, probably I understand it cannot be used for simply eating, but it contains a lot of protein. So it can be fetched. So we are allowed, our international laws allowed 1% of exploitation of krill for each country. So we not really touch that. That 1% will be equivalent to how much fish we accumulate over the Indian seas now. So it's almost that kind of
amount. That's a kind of amount of protein that maybe we can...
So we can bring it, and we can make use of it for producing protein, for example, and it can be used for feeders. And another important activity is the geophysical activities. For example, the great tsunami of 2004, it really occurred at the bottom of the sea. It's earthquake at the bottom of the sea. So there are a lot of geophysical activities which, for example, Andaman subduction zone is very important for us. Many earthquake activities happen there. So we need to really understand how the deep ocean, deep bottom of the sea really plays a role in terms of volcanoes and earthquakes. So we need to, for that also we need a lot of observations. We need many facilities like ships, huge ships. So we are entering into a deep ocean mission which will start by everything, if everything goes well, by end of this year. So that will be a
deep ocean mission. That's a new mission that we are starting. So what will that entail? What are the main features of this?
It will be an interministerial program. Interministerial program. Not only MOS will be leading it, of course, but many other departments scientific departments like Department of Science and Technology, DBT, CSIR, DRDO, ISRO, MNR, all these people will get involved.
Okay.
So these are the some activities which I was taking. Okay. Finally, at the end of the day, we want to have a manned laboratory at the bottom of the sea.
Very
so
interesting.
What space people did about 40 years back, well, we want to achieve it for ocean.
For ocean.
People have gone up.
So we want to go
down, and finally we want to establish a manned lab at the bottom of the sea. It will be a very challenging job.
Very interesting. Now you have taken over this charge of this ministry at a very, very important time. What do you think are the major challenges that as India we are facing in the area of earth sciences?
See, we are not really exploiting the science of earth science for societal applications. Okay. We have been doing a lot of good work, but there is a lot of scope for further expanding our activities and exploring the earth science for benefit, for making the products for the earth science, societal applications. So that we are trying to attempt it. So for example, our weather and climate services we will be strengthening. This deep ocean mission is one good example. And so with climate change is happening, global warming is happening. As I said, that frequency of extreme weather events will go up. So we need to develop strategy to help again save people. So the present observational network, present modeling strategy will not really work. So we need to have a fresh look at these kind of strategies. And also the seismology, for example, earthquake. At present, as you know, that earthquakes cannot be predicted, but they are being only monitored now. So, but I personally feel maybe after 20 years or 30 years, there could be some way of predicting earthquakes. So we are doing a lot of work on that aspect also to understand the earthquake processes in the Indian subcontinent, as well as to find out precursors. So that if you find a precursor, then you can say that maybe after 2 hours there could be an earthquake. So we are doing a lot of research, but a breakthrough may not come very soon, but definitely one day fine one it will happen.
Will. Very, very interesting, very, very exciting, very illuminating. That's what I would say about this conversation. We got to know what different areas under earth sciences this ministry is involved and what are the new areas in which they are also entering into. It has been a very, very wonderful conversation. Thank you for being with us in this show.
Thank you.
And we thank you very much for your valuable information and time. Keep watching Eureka. We'll come back with another conversation another week with an Indian scientist. Keep watching Eureka.